Pádraig
O'Sullivan. Minister, I suppose I'd be very slow to comment on any content in the Remy Farrell report or any of the allegations, and I think that due process will take effect, and we need to be cognizant of that in this debate. But nonetheless, I think it is fair to register some of our concern on the record, and I think that has to be stated from the outset with some of the allegations. Minister, the public must have trust in our planning system. They must trust in the impartiality and integrity of the planning system if it is to function sustainably. We need to ask ourselves a fundamental question: does that environment and culture of integrity and faith exist at present amongst the public? And the honest answer is probably not, and as faith has undoubtedly been shaken in that agency. To that end, I welcome the interim steps both Minister O'Brien and yourself have taken. I welcome that you both have sanctioned a further 24 posts with a commitment to review staffing resources at Pleanála shortly. It is much needed and long overdue. We need to ask ourselves if a system that can take anywhere up to 18 months to deal with a one-off housing appeal is fit for purpose. Given the current inflationary cycle, a house could increase twofold by the time a decision is adjudicated upon. We need an appeal process that is quick, fair and transparent, not one that facilitates prevarication and sleepless nights for people looking to build a home. The one thing that really irks me the most about the current appeal process is that I find myself actively discouraging people appealing refusals on their own submissions, as it's not justifiable to appeal a decision and sit and wait, as I said, for 12 to 18 months for it to be reviewed. And it's far more appropriate, I think, and sometimes more economical with time, to revert back to local authorities and address concerns there if possible. And I asked myself afterwards, have I given the right advice to those constituents and to those people? And obviously, hindsight is a great thing, you never know, but no public rep should actively, I suppose, discourage people from going through a perfectly legal, sound appeals process because it could cost you too much time. That obviously highlights some of the main problems that we have with Pleanála and its fit for purpose. The second thing I'd like to refer to is the Attorney General review, which the government is or has undertaken for the last 12 months. And I understand it's to come before us all shortly. And the one thing I would disagree with Deputy O'Callaghan on, he's not here at the moment, but to take our time on it. Yes, it's important to take necessary time, but at the same time this needs to be done quickly, because we are facing a massive challenge in the next few years in terms of green energy, renewable energy. And let's face it, an awful lot of those projects are contentious and they cause considerable concern for local people. But we need a board or another agency that is fit to deal with the large number of applications that are likely to come before them in the next few years. And as I've outlined before, any process that takes 2, 3, 4 years for some of these developments is not fit for purpose. If we're sincere about challenging the energy crisis that we have and converting as much as possible to renewable and green energy, we need a vehicle that's going to be able to streamline those applications and prioritise in many cases those projects that are going to help us get out of this energy crisis. The other thing I'd like to mention is that in the board's own guidelines, members and staff are subject to Pleanála's code of conduct and its internal grievance and disciplinary procedures. And as of now, I believe that the Minister has no role in relation to staff members of the board. And I think in any future legislative changes that are to come, or any organisational changes that might be addressed in the review to take place, I think it's imperative that there would be avenues there for a Minister of the day to intervene where there might be cases of any impropriety or any question marks about any board member. So in short, just to summarise, I think Pleanála needs to be adequately resourced. As I said, I welcome the 24 staff that are initially sanctioned, but I believe that we probably in the long term need multiples of that to really have an efficient and transparent appeals process. We need to expedite decisions, as I said, particularly in the area of green energy and renewable energy. And we can't have a situation where people just go on endlessly waiting and missing appeal dates just to be, get new letters that give you another appeal date, which will undoubtedly not be met either. And we need to ensure transparency, and a number of speakers here mentioned it earlier in relation to two board members sitting and adjudicating and deciding on, sometimes large decisions. And we need to put an end to that practice and ensure full transparency in all activities of the board. Gormagus Ceann Comhairle.